Hi. Hi, kids, and hello to all the adults in the room. Welcome to the Sweet Sounds of Reading Computer School. I'm the reading lady, but my students call me Tutor Vanessa. Now, today's a letter sounds class, and this class is for 3 levels of students. So before we get started, let's make sure that you're in the right class, okay? Now, level one. Now, level one students, you're a brand new reader. Maybe you're about 4.5, 5, maybe even 6 years old, and you're just now learning how to read for the very first time. Good for you. You're going to really like learning how to read. Now, level two. Now, level two students, you struggle with reading just a little bit. And right now, you feel like reading's hard and not fun at all. Well, for you, I'm going to make reading easy and I'm going to make it fun, okay? Now we have level three. Now, level three students are students that need or maybe even just want a letter sounds out boost. Now, maybe you never really learned phonics when you were in school, or you never really learned how to break down the sounds inside of words. All right? Now, kids, here's another thing. Before we get started, I need to have a really quick grown up talk with all the reader teachers in your house. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, we don't have any reader teachers in our house. You may and you may not. Let's check and see. Now, a reader teacher can be your parents or your grandparents. It can be a family member or a friend of the family. It can be a preschool worker, a tutor, a teacher, or even a homeschooler. Now, if you have any of those 8 people in your house that I just mentioned, they're the people that I want to talk to, okay? Now, kids, while I'm talking to the reader teachers, I need to ask a really quick favor of you. I need you to go and find and quickly bring back 3 things. Now, these are 3 things we're going to use to make today's class more interesting or make it a little fun. All right? Now, the very first thing I need you to go and find and bring back is a picture of yourself. Now, I need this to be a physical picture of you, not a picture that's on your cell phone. All right? Now, I want to make sure all 3 of my levels understand what I mean, what exactly I mean when I say I want a physical picture. Now, a physical picture is a picture of you anywhere in your house that you can walk over to, put your hands on, and physically pick up, right? So that's a physical picture. You can pick it up and bring it back. Now, the second thing I want you to go and find and bring back is something to write with. And the third thing is something to write on. In other words, pencil and then paper, all right? So let's do a quick recap. I want to make sure we're all on the same page, right? And that you all understand and you remember the 3 things that I asked you to go and find and bring back. Now, here's a clue. The 3 things I've asked you to go and find and bring back start with the p sound. In other words, to say these 3 things, this is what you have to do with your mouth. The first thing you have to form a p sound when you're saying these 3 things, all right? Now, for level 1 students, we're going to do a little exercise. Level 2 and 3, I need you to hang tight for a second because I'm going to come back to you shortly, all right? But for level 1 students, this is what I want you to do. We're going to practice the p sound, right? And we're going to make this sound 3 times. And then I'm going to point to you and you're going to say it. So this is how it's going to work. I want you to watch my lips. I want you to listen to what I say. And then I want you to practice, or I should say copy, right? Copy off of me. So you're going to watch, listen, and copy, right? And so it's like this. Now you do it. Good job, good job. All right. So level 1 students, I want you to hang tight for a second while I talk to level 2 and 3. Now, my level 2 and 3 students, if I were to ask you without you even thinking about it, what sound does the letter P make? What would you automatically say? Now, how many of you would say puh, puh, puh? That's really common. That's pretty common. But the thing is, when you're saying puh, 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 you're actually making 2 sounds. You're making the P sound and the U sound, or the P and the sound, right? Now, my level 1 students, don't worry about letter names or letter sounds, especially those of you who are just now learning the alphabet. Maybe you don't quite know the letter names or sounds. We're going to learn those things in another class. So don't worry, just sit tight for a second. We're getting back to level 2 and 3. When you're adding these extra unnecessary sounds. Hmm? Especially those of you that are struggling, or you're having a hard time decoding words. So when you're adding these extra unnecessary sounds, what you're actually doing is spending a lot of unnecessary energy, right? And what happens after you've sounded out a word or tried to decode or sound out a word, and then somebody asks you, well, what did you just read? Right? You're like, I don't know. Because you're all wore out. I don't know what I just read. Because you spend all that unnecessary energy. So we're going to practice and make sure that you're making one single solitary sound when you're saying letter names, single letter names. All right. So just like with level 1, I want you to watch, listen, and repeat. Okay. All right. So now it's your turn. Good job. All right. So where were we? Oh, I know. Who remembers the 3 things that I asked for? And let's put a little challenge on it. What's the order that I asked for them in? In other words, what's the first thing I asked for? And then what's the second thing I asked for? And then what's the third thing I asked for? Okay? Now, anybody? Now, did you say picture, pencil, paper? And listen for the p sound in those 3 things. P, picture, p, pencil, p, paper. Good job, good job. All right, one more thing for my level 1 students. Now, we don't want you running through the house with a sharp pencil. Why do you think it is not a good idea for you to be running through the house or even fast walking through the house with a sharp pencil? Anybody? Did you say the sharp pencil might stick you? The sharp pencil might stick you. That's right. Now, level 2 and level 3 students, can you help my level 1 out? Can you think of 2 words that start with the p sound? That describes why it's not a good idea to run or fast walk through the house with a sharp pencil. 2 words that start with the p sound. Now, did you say something like the point might poke you? The point might poke you? Good job. All right. So for my level 1 students, we don't want you finding or running through the house with a sharp pencil. Instead, I want you to find a crayon. Right? So I don't want you to bring me back a pencil in this exercise. I want you to bring back a crayon. Now I want you to think for a second. Where in our house do we keep the crayons? Where are my crayons? Think. I know. You might find the crayons in your bedroom, or the room that you sleep in. You might even find crayons up on a shelf. You might find crayons in a drawer or on the floor. Anyway, wherever you keep crayons in your house, again, I want you to not bring back a pencil, but I want you to bring back a crayon. All right, now with that being said, kids, I want you to go and find, while me and the adults or me and the reader teachers are having our talk, I want you to go and find and bring back those 3 things. A picture, something to write with, and something to write on. We'll see you in a bit. All right? Now, parents and reader teachers, I wanted to take this time to quickly share with you what to expect in today's class and what you can expect in all the future classes I'm going to be teaching your child. Well, it's really simple, right? So let me share my screen with you for a moment. What I'm going to be offering is back to basics, old school learning, thinking. The only difference is I'm coming to you in this new school computer environment. See, it's just that simple, yet it's just that simple. It's just that simple, but yet again, it's just that crucial. All right? Now, if you ever feel like you need to contact me and send me a personal or a private email regarding your child's reading strengths or how you think I might best support their learning styles and their needs, you can always send me an email to the address here on the screen, readinglady411@gmail.com. Now, don't worry about having to quickly find something to write down this email address, because I've left it in the description box below today's class. Now, with that being said, Now that I briefly introduced myself to you, I'd like for you to return the favor because I'd like to know who's in my class, who am I teaching. So if you can send me a brief email, first names only, and tell me who you are, where you are, the age and or grade that your child's in. Okay? Now, by your introducing yourself to me this way, this will allow me to customize or tailor make any future bonus classes to fit the exact needs of your child, my student. All right? So I look forward to getting to know you and reading your emails. All right? Now, I also want to share this with you. For each and every free online class that I'm going to be teaching or offering to your child, there'll always be a practice homework book available on Amazon. Or, if you prefer, you can again send me an email and we'll make arrangements to have that day's lesson plan sent directly to you to your email address. All right? Now, let's talk about the significance or the importance of practice. Now, we're all familiar with the saying about what practice makes, right? Practice makes perfect. That's right. Practice makes perfect. So if you want to give your child the opportunity to practice their way to perfection, remember to always look in the description box of each and every class to see how you can access or get this practice homework information. Now, if I can just briefly keep your attention on the subject of classes for just a few moments more. I'm happy to share this with you. Once we complete all of the reading classes, and there are going to be 50 total reading classes, I'm also going to be offering 3 bonus classes. I want you to think of these classes as the Trinity, the Back to Basics Learning Thinking Trinity. All right, and here's the order that I'm going to be offering these bonus classes. The very first class I'm going to be offering is called Stay in Your Lane. Now, Stay in Your Lane class, I'm going to be teaching addition and subtraction basics using a stacked numbered system. Now, in other words, I'm going to be teaching your child or helping your child lay a foundation for all future numbers solving. I'm going to be teaching them how to think in a sequential or a systematic order. Now, in this particular class, we're going to be learning how to solve the problems in the ones numbers lanes, and then the tens numbers lane, and then the hundreds numbers lanes. We're also going to be learning in this class how to carry a number to the next lane or borrow from a lane if and when it's necessary. And also in the Stay in Your Lane series, your child's going to be learning the very fine art and the science of finger count. And then when we complete the Stay in Your Lane series, we're going to progress or we're going to move to the next higher level of numbers thinking. And this is going to be a series of classes called Sense and Sensibilities. Now, in the Sense and Sensibilities classes, we're going to be using coins and dollar bills, play money that is, to teach your child how to, again, think in numbers. They're going to learn how to count money and make change. And they're going to come to comprehend, understand, and realize that when you are dealing with money in any form or any amount, all you're simply doing is adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying. Now, speaking of multiplying, in the Sense and Sensibilities classes, we're also going to learn our timetables. And here's the thing. If your child or when your child knows their timetables automatically, this is a skill. This is a numbers skill that's going to benefit them through the rest of their numbers thinking life. How about that? Now, also in the Sense and Sensibilities classes, we're going to learn how to solve or comprehend and understand any kind of word problem. Once we complete the Sense and Sensibilities class, we're going to move on to the next or the final class in the Trinity. And this is a language arts class called Roots of Spanish. Now, I want you to think of this class as a mental gymnastics class. I'm going to explain why in just a moment. But in the Roots of Spanish class, we're going to be using a very unique image and color-coded system to learn to speak, or I should say speak to learn this language. Now, the reason I want you to think of it as a mental gymnastics class, I want you to think for a second what I'm going to be asking and requiring of your child. Now, they're going to be learning these foreign words while they're thinking about them or translating in this mental this muscle right here in English. And then they're going to be speaking in Spanish. Well, again, they're simultaneously thinking or transcribing in English. So as you can see, we're going to be really giving this muscle a workout. And what is that saying about what happens to muscle if you don't use it? If you don't use it, you lose it. That's right. If you don't use it, you lose it. And as you can see in this particular language arts class, or as a matter of fact, in all of the back to basics learning thinking classes, we're going to be really using this muscle. Now, another cool thing about the bonus classes is this. Just like with the main class, the reading class, there will always be practice homework books available so that your child can practice their way to perfection. Good job. All right. Now, if I can bring your attention really quickly back to the main class, and that's the reading class. Now, even though this is labeled or categorized as a reading class, my true main objective, my true main purpose in teaching your child how to read is to teach them the letter sounds codes. And knowing the letter sounds codes, this is how it's going to benefit your child. For children of the code, there's no such thing as a word too hard to read. Now, as a matter of fact, parents and reader teachers, this is where I really, really need your help. I need you to help me instill a sense of discipline in your child when they're taking these 1-hour courses. And I need them to be alert, right, and present and in the moment. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because you are allowing me into the comforts and the convenience of your home. So naturally, there's going to be a tendency for your child when they're taking my classes to kick back and just relax. They're probably going to be wanting to take this class laying across their bed or laying on the couch or reclining in the chair or laying across the floor, right? But here's the thing. Now, parents and reader teachers, if you make sure that they are upright and they are alert and they assume new information position when they're taking my classes, preferably at the kitchen table or at a desk. Now, if you don't think you have a desk, you might and you might not, but it's really cheap and it's probably going to be free because you probably have these two materials in your house already. All you need is one of those foldable TV tray tables and a foldable chair. What? You have a desk. But here's the thing again, parents. If you make sure your child is present and alert, and they hang in there with me from start to finish, your child will have learned 103 total letter sounds codes, and your child will be able to read just like that, anything that's put before them, and that's a promise. Now, there's one other area that I want to quickly share with you before we get started with today's class. Now, this is an area that I feel the most passionate about, all right? And here it is. For all of the African American parents in the room, or for all of the reader teachers who are responsible for teaching Black children how to read, please know and hear this. In order for African American children to be successful, fluent, confident, lifelong readers, African American children must first and only be taught the letter sounds and not sight words. All right? Now, I've also left in the description box a link to an online YouTube lecture entitled We Are Different by Dr. Laila Africa. And one of the key things that Dr. Laila Africa points out is that because of our natural rhythmic sound mastery, no other race hears sounds like African Americans, right? So you can kind of see why it's really important to first teach Black children how to read using letter sounds. Now, with that being said, I would imagine all the kids are back in the room and they're fired up and they're ready to get started. But first and foremost, parents and reader teachers, I want to thank you for your time and your patience in listening to this orientation introduction to today's class. So, kids, and all of the reader teachers who are opting to sit in today's class, welcome to the Sweet Sounds of Reading, class number 1. So just click on the link below for the class and let's get started. All right? So we'll see you in a bit. Bye for now.